So now we are going to talk more on that. So when was AWAS created?
Okay. So we're just going to dive right in, right? AWAS, I founded AWAS in April 2020. So we're still a baby, put it that way. But I started AWAS anonymously, to be very honest. This happened during the first MCO because of my experience of being a suicide loss survivor. That was the reason why I started it. But like I said, I started doing it anonymously because I was scared of the stigma, because of the, because I was not ready. So that was my story. And then now AWAS is officially under a body called Yayasan Suratkan. So just recently. So
amazing.
Quite an achievement.
That is that you took a story of your own and made it into reality. I find it super inspiring and so empowering, especially like to people who are having suicidal thoughts and tendencies. They would really appreciate what you're doing right now. Yeah. So, okay. No worries. So how does AWAS exactly tackle suicide? Like, walk us through it.
Right. Okay, we've got, AWAS has three main objectives. The first one is suicide awareness, and then the second one is suicide prevention, and then postvention. So, we hear a lot about awareness and prevention, right? But not so much about postvention. Basically, suicide awareness, we do this kind of engagement with community, with people, like talks, forums. We do a concert, and we produce a song just to change the medium a bit, because not everyone wants to listen to talks or forums, So through songs and concert, we hope to reach out the masses and, create the awareness on suicide and mental health. And then prevention is, we have two means of doing so. One is the care line texting. And the other one is through the texting, we will identify or see whoever who needs the extra help, support, and we will accompany them to their first doctor's appointment. This is the reason why we do this, is to encourage people to get help, to seek help, because usually people feel intimidated to go seek doctor or, see the psychiatrist, and, because of the stigma. So that's prevention. And I find that people find texting appealing, especially the younger generation, because as we know, 1,708 out of 1,708 suicide deaths between 2019 to 2021, March 2021, half of it are of people aged 15 to 18. And because of this age group, I feel like they find texting more appealing.
Yeah,
and it's like a buddy system, when they text, the next time around they text us, it's going to be the same people answering. So it's not like, because like some phone calls or hotline calls, when you call them today, one person answer, another 3 weeks, another person would answer. So you have to keep repeating your stories and things like that. So that's the prevention means that we provide. And then the last one is postvention. Postvention is when there's suicide occur in a community, we would go and provide support, emotional support to the bereaved, to the family, to the community, and they may not be bereaved by suicide, but they were traumatized because they were witness of suicide and things like that. So the postvention is gaining support now. People are becoming more aware of it, because sometimes people lose colleagues to suicide. Sometimes people lose schoolmates or neighbors, so they would want some extra support, and they would contact us. So
I see.
These are the three involvements that we do.
That's so amazing. Like, as you said, I've never seen an NGO who would deal with postvention of suicide. And I think that is a very
Mhm.
initiative that, people are so traumatized when a suicide occurs, and they are also going through a trauma. And the fact that your show does this is amazing. So props on you. So, okay.
Thank you.
So what is the main inspiration for AWAS?
Mm. Um, it would be my own personal journey. When I became a suicide loss survivor about 10 years ago, there was almost zero awareness of mental health,
Yeah.
and and I tried to seek for help. I went to other NGOs championing suicide, and there were none. There were no programs or support specifically tailored for suicide survivors or people by suicide. So it was a very painful, lonely,
Experience.
traumatizing moment, experience. What I have to say, I did. There was support in terms of like professional support. There were psychiatrists, psychologists, things like that, but there were none from by the people who have experienced it.
Yeah.
Which is really important. I feel. So 5 years down the road, I got really sick. I guess I never dealt with the trauma, I never processed it, and I developed depression and anxiety. So I had to go to the psychiatrist, be on medication. I'm still on medication, still getting treatment and therapy and whatnot. But I realized that it's important to have the support, because with support, your life will become, better, and you have more quality, and so I started the support group quite recently, April 2020, and it's been a wonderful journey, because I'm connected to people. People all over the world would text me or DM me and say, thank you, I could relate to your post. I just lost my mother to suicide. I just lost, this so and so, and it's like a little community that
Yeah.
we've created to support each other. And it's so meaningful, I feel, because when you're struggling on your own, it's really unpleasant and it's really painful, to the point where you feel like, the world is against you, like nobody understands you. And yeah, so it's been a beautiful journey, I feel, and I'm doing this a lot more. Like, people are inviting to give talks on awareness and whatnot. I'm still scared though, June. I have to admit that, to say, I'm a suicide loss survivor out loud, it's not.
Yeah.
It's still something I, like, hesitate, but I know it's something that I have to do, and I want the suicide loss survivors in our support group to be able to do the same one day, to advocate, because we have to hear these voices. Usually, the suicide loss survivors are the really neglected, unsupported ones. These are the group that you don't really notice, because they're so quiet, because
Exactly.
of because of the shame and guilt and stigma. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So
but I really want change. That's why I'm doing this, and I really hope to support. Through AWAS, we want to create more understanding between people who, because mental health issues are usually misunderstood, or frowned upon and things like that. So hopefully, by having this platform, we can create inclusivity among us, and more understanding.
exactly. I think the main focus now is just deconstructing the stigma around suicide. You know,
Exactly.
shouldn't be frowned upon, shamed upon. People have suicidal thoughts, suicidal tendencies. What you do is help them, not shame them. That's the first step
Mm,
to actually tackling the suicidal rates in Malaysia, I feel. But yes,
mm.
such a powerful story. Thank you so, so much. It's so tough to say these things, especially online. So thank you for that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So why do you think destigmatizing suicide is so important? in our day?
Why this? Because stigma is so thick, right? It's so strong among us, and if we don't destigmatize this, we don't. The more we normalize conversations around surrounding suicide, it will destigmatize it, and it will help other people to reach out and get help.
Yeah.
Because of the shame, because people usually either relate mental health issues with low in Malay we say iman, like you have less faith,
Yeah, that's
or or you're too lazy, or whatever, all this all these things people say, but it's not true, because people who get help, right, when people get help and get support for their mental health issues, they will be a lot more they can have quality life and they can function. Of course, some people are still, they struggle to get the right medication, right amount. But once they find the right support and medication and whatnot, they will become, and therapy, they will become a lot better, and they can contribute to the society. I mean, take me for example, like I was really in bad shape. I could not, when I was depressed, I could not wake up in the morning. I have two kids. I could not send them to school. Just basic functioning was just, I couldn't do. I was not able to do. And then when I got the treatment, I got better slowly. But because I'm a psychology graduate, that was also the stigma that I was facing, my self stigma. Not only I was dealing with the stigma of society, but I had my own self stigma. I feel like I have failed to keep my loved one safe. I was supposed to be the gatekeeper of my loved one for being a psychology graduate, but I did not see the signs, the warning signs of suicide and all that. So talking about it, destigmatizing, having these conversations are really necessary so that people know that it's an illness.
yes.
It's something, it's something that is treatable, and suicide is preventable, and it's something that we all can play a role in it, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so powerful. And whatever you said, I agree 100% that people should be very more involved. Like when someone says like they're having like suicidal thoughts, instead of, oh, what's happening, instead of being confrontational, we should come together with love and support and see them to like proper parties and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do the public help to support AWAS? Because I understand AWAS is a baby NGO right now, right? It's only started
Yes.
last year, 2020. So what can the public do to support AWAS?
Oh, we would love to have volunteers on board. If you could, if people are interested in supporting this cause, mental health and suicide prevention, you could go to www.yayasan Zurat Care, because AWAS is a program under Yayasan Zurat Care, where you click on the button of to getting involved, and there's a link, there's a form that you could fill up. We are looking for volunteers. Number one, to help man the text care line, and number two, to assist people, because our volunteers need to be trained. We don't just, it's not just anyone could. Of course, anyone could volunteer, but they have to go through proper training. So that we would love to have a lot more people on board and support the cause, so that we can cover the whole of Malaysia. At the moment, our assistants are limited. We want to provide assistance. We want to accompany, chaperone people to see the doctor, especially their first appointment, and we want more people to, it's called A-Team, AWAS team. It's like a buddy system where you become, a buddy to someone, so that when they are feeling suicidal or feeling really distressed, they can reach out to you, and you play that role as a like a buddy, and support them and things like that. So volunteer is definitely the way to do. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know, what is like the process of training? Like how long is it?
Okay, wow. That's it's a 2 days training. of course, now it's online because AWAS started during MCO, so everything was online. We are hoping to have, soon a physical kind of training, but it's called PFA, psychological first aid training, so that people are equipped to man or to deal with people who are in distress, what to say, the do's and don'ts. Because sometimes when people are in distress, right, they are, they are either very angry or, they have very big emotions. And we as volunteers, we need to stay calm and composed and know, how to help and assist them better, by not being, worried or too scared or too terrified if people are especially suicidal and things like that.
Okay, amazing. I, for one, am very glad that you started this NGO last year, because I think when COVID struck, a lot of people got unemployed, retrenched, and a lot of people were having suicidal thoughts and tendencies. And I think this was the right time that you started it, So yeah.
Exactly, that's true. Adlyn, for some reason, it's really gaining a lot of attention because of the assistance we provide, and people are now talking. A lot more people are talking about it. Mental health awareness and suicide awareness, and it's good that. And to me, of course, everyone is affected by COVID-19, right? By the pandemic, but the can I say the beauty of it, the other side of the pandemic is that we are now able to talk about mental health issues and societal issues like openly now. Because if not, people like me would be like whispering or like hiding away, like trying to find our mental health tribe. But now people are more accepting and people are basically forced to understand it because everyone is struggling emotionally, have anxiety because of the uncertainties of losing jobs or whatever, not being able to maintain their income or things like that, right? So in a way, the good thing about this pandemic, I feel, is like, especially for a mental health advocate, is the fact that people now are becoming a lot more aware and a lot more sensitive towards other people who have mental health issues, Yeah.
I personally can't believe it took a pandemic for our country to start giving attention to mental health. It has come to this, so.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, but it's like you said, unfortunately it has to be this way, but still, it's never too late. It's never too late to do something, to change, and speaking, sorry,
for our future generations as well, especially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And talking about destigmatizing, right? Like, I am for decriminalizing suicide, the 309 Act.
Definitely.
Kanun ke-6 309 says that, whoever who attempts suicide are to be penalized. Of course, if they survived, they are to be penalized. Either they can go to jail or, pay, what do you call that? A fine, yes, pay a fine. So it's really sad because people who try to take their lives are in a lot of distress. They are really, in pain, to the point no one would wake up one day and say, oh, today I feel like dying, no, unless you are unwell, unless you are really, in that kind of mental state that you would take your life. If not, you wouldn't. And it's really sad that we in Malaysia, we are still criminalizing. We take that as a people are being criminalized for trying to take their lives, right? Singapore, our neighbor country, had just decriminalized suicide in January 2020. So if Singapore can do it, we can do it. We should do it. It's time for us to change the law, and the law has to. We have to change. The law has to change according to our needs now, and because of the pandemic, we can't afford to send everyone to jail, and that's going to create more problems for them and more shame too. Like, they are already struggling with mental health issues. which is already, you know, a lot, causing a lot of embarrassment and pain and shame and all that. But putting them in jail does not solve anything. It creates more problems, right?
Yeah, I believe that I think in
Definitely.
government now there are talks about decriminalizing suicide. So let's hope it happens. Okay, I'm with all of you. So let's hope it happens.
The Miss Malaysia who can make that change and, you know, put pressure and talk about it. You know, are you going to talk about it when you how does it work? Your
My preliminaries is this Saturday, so there's 39 of us competing for the Malaysia title. So I hope I do well, and then after that we'll go to top 10, and then everything will be from top 10 to top 5, and then the girl gets crowned, and then she goes to the international stage. So crossing is a very important topic to talk about, and I hope. So yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me. It's such an honor to have you, honestly, because your dedication and your service to the public is something that I really inspired to be one day, because I believe that I will be advocating for suicide for a long time as well. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Adlyn, for having me. Yeah, it's been wonderful, and I wish you all the best.
Thank
I
you.
would love to see you being the girl who are going to be crowned for it.
Thank you.
You know, and hopefully things can change in Malaysia and we can abolish 309 and, you know, and not criminalize suicide anymore, hopefully.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope so too. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a good night and good day
You
tomorrow.
too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Adlyn. Bye.